Key point 1. Is love an innate skill, or does it require work? Many humans assume that there's nothing to learn about love. Love appears as an accidental positive feeling and experience. We fall into it as luck would have it. However, love, contrary to popular belief, is an art that requires knowledge and effort. Our wrong assumptions about love have their distinct roots. One is the belief that we must be successful and influential to the best of our abilities to earn love. There's a conviction that you'll get anyone you want if you're rich enough. Another requirement is attractiveness. Conventional beauty seems to be the master key to the love door. Add all well-known gender-labeled expectations to the mix. Men must be strong and decisive, and women must be pretty and great homemakers. And you'll get the complete package of unhealthy assumptions. You don't have to meet specific societal requirements and expectations to be worthy of love. We believe in the simplicity of love, but convince ourselves that finding the right person is complex. In our culture, marketing orientation is prevalent, and we attach too much value to material success. So it's not surprising that our love follows the same pattern that governs the market. Another crucial element for understanding love is realizing the difference between falling in love and being in love. When two people who have been strangers let their walls down and become suddenly intimate, they enjoy a very exhilarating experience. However, as these two people become more acquainted, their intimacy loses its touch, and the initial excitement eventually fizzles out. Dive in to discover the theory and practice of love. Learn what it means to love in a mature way, and explore the joy of giving yourself to another person without expecting much in return. Discover the active character of love. Key point 2. The theory and practice of the art of love. How can we overcome this stagnant process that love is undergoing right now? The surest way is to establish the reasons for this lack of success. After this, we must put time and effort into understanding love. This study entails many aspects, both theoretical and practical. Once we master them, we can tap into the true potential of feelings. First, we must accept that love is an art. To learn how to love, we must approach it in the same way we approach another form of art we want to master, such as medicine, music, and painting. To understand the art of love, we must master both theory and practice. If one wants to learn painting, one must study its theoretical aspects. After acquiring extensive academic knowledge, the person then goes on to master this art through a great deal of practice. We can only attain proficiency when the results of our theoretical understanding and our practice blend into one. Our intuition, the essence of mastery. After going through theory and practice, we must strive to become masters in the art. Nothing else on earth must be as important as the art we seek to master. This rule applies to love just as much as other art forms. The fact that love requires such great devotion is perhaps why most of us rarely learn this art. Despite our innate craving for it, we attach more importance to almost everything else rather than love. We spend all our energy pursuing success, prestige, money, and power, sparing none to learn the art of loving. The only things we see as worthy of being known are those with which we can earn money or prestige. Love, unfortunately, only profits the soul and doesn't give material profit. So we treat it as a luxury that isn't worth spending much energy on. However, love lies at the core of our being as humans, and we can't exist without it. It brings us the highest form of comfort and fulfillment. Love is not a given, but deserves every minute we spend learning and embracing it. Key point 3. Love in its mature form. One unique feature of our human existence is that we evolved from the animal kingdom and transcended nature itself. Even though we still live in nature, we've been irreparably torn away from it. No matter how hard we try, we can never attain our original oneness with nature. We will always remain separate from it. How does a person move forward? They have to find a new kind of harmony. To do this, they must seek a connection with other human beings. As Erich Fromm puts it, love solves the problem of humankind's existence. We seek to achieve union, transcend our lives, and find atonement to overcome our innate separateness and aloneness. Seeking connections is at the core of human condition. This absolute passion is the very force that keeps humanity united. If we fail to connect, we experience intense suffering that frequently leads to destruction, either of self or others. Generally, there are two forms of love, the immature form and the mature one. The immature form of love, also known as symbiotic union, is also of two broad types, the passive form, masochism, and the active form, sadism. Masochism is a symbiotic union that entails submission. A masochist creates an addiction to someone, letting the other person take charge of everything and developing a dependent relationship. The masochistic person doesn't have to make decisions or take risks. They're never alone and lack independence and integrity. The active form of symbiotic fusion, sadism, entails domination. Sadists also create a codependent relationship, making the other person their all-compliant companion. The latter serves the former via worship, which feeds into the ego of the dominant person. Both sides of the relationship are stripped of independence. However, the sadist commands, humiliates, exploits, and hurts the masochist. On the other hand, mature love can only exist in a relationship that values originality and independence. Love is a powerful force that breaks the barrier that isolates individuals and unites them with others. In its mature state, love enables individuals to conquer their feelings of detachment and solitude while remaining true to themselves and preserving their integrity. Love is a paradox in this sense. The feeling creates a union between two people but doesn't fuse them into one being. Key point 4. By giving of ourselves, we experience joy and true love. Love, according to Erich Fromm, is an activity. Contrary to what we all like to believe, it's a standing in rather than a falling for. Love is an action. When you experience this feeling in its true form, you desire to give, not only obtain. Giving doesn't mean sacrificing or neglecting your needs. Instead, it's about sharing your joy with someone else. Some people are only willing to offer when it is in exchange for something else. To them, giving without receiving means being cheated. Some see giving as an impoverishment, so they don't even bother with it. Others equate giving with making sacrifices. They feel that if giving is painful, then it's something they must do. Prioritizing offering over receiving creates an illusion that you should suffocate your needs and desires, placing suffering over happiness. But that's not true. Giving, in actuality, is the highest form of potency. The ability to give is a sign of strength and bravery, and this strength brings a great deal of pleasure to our lives. When we feel fully alive, abundant, and generous, we naturally experience joy within ourselves. When we give, we feel life itself. That's the reason giving fills us with more happiness than receiving. Giving is not a purely materialistic concept. In love, we give ourselves, the very best thing we have, to the other person. We offer our joy, interest, understanding, knowledge, humor, sadness, and all the expressions and manifestations of our being. In giving of ourselves, we enrich the other person's sense of being by enhancing our sense of being. True love brings forth equal exchange, which fills both people with delight. To achieve this exhilaration, we must abandon any toxic tendencies we might have. Among them might be codependency patterns, selfish behaviors, and the desire to manipulate and possess. We must develop the courage to rely on our ability to attain our goals. No one can love without the fear of opening oneself fully to the other person. Be brave enough to accept and express those feelings, even if it may result in pain. Love involves being selfless and not anticipating anything in return. Key point 5. love as an act of 4 interdependent components. The 4 major constituents of true love are care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge. If we see a parent who doesn't care for their infant and forgets to feed, bathe, and comfort them, we would never believe they truly love the child. However, their love for the child strikes us as sincere if we see them caring for the kid. We can never truly love something or someone we have no active concern for. We love the things we work hard for and work hard for the things we love. Love is the active concern for the life and the growth of that which we love. Erich Fromm. Responsibility is another vital element of love. Sometimes we perceive this aspect as a burden, something we must do. In reality, responsibility is a choice. We make a conscious decision to react to the needs of others, no matter whether they are explicit or implicit. The third element of love is respect. Thanks to this aspect, we draw the line between responsibility and control. Respect is not fear and awe of others, as we like to believe. It is the ability to see someone as they are and acknowledge their individuality. When we respect someone, we expect them to grow and develop for their own sake, not to serve us. Respect can go hand in hand with exploitation. It is impossible to respect someone without knowing them. If care and responsibility weren't guided by knowledge, they would be blind. Knowledge without concern doesn't have much meaning. To truly love someone else, we must know the person and ourselves objectively. This will enable us to overcome the illusions and the irrationally distorted image we have of them. If you don't know someone objectively, you can't know their ultimate essence in the act of love. Did you know? Care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge are attitudes only present in a mature person. To attain this level of maturity, you must give up your narcissistic tendencies. Stop trying to exploit others. Desire only the things you've worked for, and be humble. Key point 6. Objectivity and conviction in loving. Now that we've examined the theoretical aspects of love, let's look at the practice of the art of love. To show affection for someone means to abandon selfishness. People with narcissistic tendencies believe that the only real thing in life is what exists in them. As far as a narcissist is concerned, anything that has nothing to do with them holds no meaning. They experience everything in the outside world from the viewpoint of those things being valuable or dangerous. Objectivity is the exact opposite of narcissism. It is the ability to see an individual as they are, to view them objectively, and separate this objective picture from the fantasized image formed by one's fears and desires. Without achieving an attitude of humility, it's impossible to use reason, and hence impossible to be objective. We must develop humility, objectivity, and reason to learn to love genuinely. We must also try to see the difference between our narcissistically distorted picture of people and their actual behavior. The ability to love depends on one's capacity to emerge from narcissism. It depends on our capacity to grow and develop a productive orientation in our relationship toward the world and ourselves. Erich Fromm. Another essential condition for genuinely loving is faith. The conviction must be reasonable. We must be sure about our feelings and trust the person we admire. Belief in someone requires conviction in their reliability, character, and feelings. The identical approach goes for personal trust. Even if some things change or we struggle, we must ensure that nothing will break our spirit. No one is perfect. The art of loving is only possible with conviction in our feelings. We must believe that we deserve love and can reciprocate the affection of another person. Learn to understand both other people and yourself. If we take people at face value, we'll only see the differences that separate us. However, if we take the time to look beyond the surface, we'll be able to recognize human identity and solidarity. We'll realize that the core human values and characteristics common to all people are much greater than any differences we might have. Conclusion. Some believe nothing is more straightforward than love, which demands no work. They view it as a stroke of luck. Contrary to this conventional assumption, however, love is an art that requires knowledge and effort. Learning the art of love demands practice, dedication, and concentration. And most importantly, to master this art, perfecting our understanding of it must be of ultimate concern. Nothing else on earth must be as important as the art we seek to master, the art of loving. Love isn't a sentiment anyone can indulge in, regardless of their level of maturity. It doesn't spark in us when the right person comes along. Genuine love is an active character with 4 major constituents: care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge. Unless an individual works towards developing their personality and letting go of their narcissistic tendencies to attain a positive outlook, all attempts at genuine love are bound to fail. We can't love a particular person or ourselves if we don't develop the capacity to love everyone through humility, faith, discipline, and courage first. Learn to look beyond the surface, to experience brotherly love, the most fundamental kind of love. It is essential that we penetrate from the periphery to the core. Be compassionate with others. Give them a chance to prove themselves. Do not relate to people based solely on your assumptions and preconceived notions. Try this. Reflect on your approach to love. Analyze your feelings and how you show them and receive affection. Look out for toxic tendencies. No one's perfect, but self-awareness is an important stepping stone to improvement and happiness. If you have a partner, ask them about their perception of love. Discuss your relationship. Find out whether they want to make any improvements, and express your ideas. Don't forget about being considerate and open. Be brave and stay curious.